so you need to remember to back the grid up. You need to remember to back the grid up. They're stringing out quite a lot.
And he was quite a way ahead of Nico Rosberg when we last saw him as well. Martin.
Yeah. Well, the story there is don't arrive too early on pole position. Keep those tyres up. Otherwise, we've seen them sitting on the pole now over 40 seconds in recent times. I remember sitting in driver briefings on a Sunday morning when we used to have them then, and Jean-Marie Balester, the president of the FIA back then, a quite unusual character, would scream and shout, and we were timed. If we didn't get on the grid within 30 seconds, the whole grid of 26 cars, we'd be in for it, like seeing the headmaster at the next race.
When the lights go out, there's already a bit of smoke coming off there from the back of the McLaren. We've got 5 lights on the grid. It's lights out, and away we go. Lewis Hamilton leads them away. Already Sebastian Vettel has managed to pass Nico Rosberg. Great start there from Vettel. Rosberg in third. Adrian Sutil moves up into 4th place, and there's Romain Grosjean now behind Kimi Räikkönen as Lewis Hamilton comes down into the loop, and down the inside goes Fernando Alonso's teammate Felipe Massa. What a start from Felipe Massa from outside the top 10.
Damage for Mark Webber. He had contact. He's right back down the pack. He had a poor start. So did Nico Rosberg, but Webber in all sorts of trouble and parts flying off his car.
I wonder if it was contact and Fernando Alonso got caught up with it, because Massa's made a miraculous start as there past the Lotus he goes, and we can see Jenson Button and Daniel Ricciardo just trading places on, then Sergio Pérez getting up there as well as round the outside goes Grosjean in the Lotus, getting past the McLaren, and we can ride on board with Fernando Alonso down in 10th place as we head now down towards Cox. Hamilton leads from Vettel and Rosberg, and Sutil and Massa in 5th. And then comes Räikkönen and Ricciardo, Button, Grosjean and Alonso in the top 10, and Webber down in 15th, Martin. Romain Grosjean was the man that hit Mark Webber going down into turn 1. That's where the contact was. That's where Mark Webber lost all those places in his final British Grand Prix. And there goes Fernando Alonso and Jenson Button coming in to stow. Alonso squeezes through on the inside. The DRS will be available. Has Alonso, though, got the straight line speed and a decent tow, hasn't he? Pulls out from behind the Lotus. Into Brooklands he goes, under braking, giving Grosjean a little bit of room there because the move wasn't quite on for him, but it's going to continue on round Luffield.
There's not enough grip around the outside, so he'll cut back underneath.
OK, Mark, we can see front wing damage. It looks the same as Canada.
So that was an end plate, wasn't it? There was a flapping about for a minute.
Wow, I saw that car after the end of the Canadian Grand Prix. It was a mess.
Down the hanger straight, as now the Toro Rosso and the Williams, Jean-Eric Vergne and Pastor Maldonado through Stowe. Vergne in 16th, Maldonado in 15th, and the Venezuelan just about keeps ahead. Vergne, though, getting very interested there on Maldonado, as into the Vale chicane we come now. Good covering by Pastor Maldonado.
Well, I don't know whether Alonso was defending there as Mark Webber starts coming back through the field. He's back up to 12th now, but Alonso's line through turn 4 was awful. I don't know if he was defending from Räikkönen, but he lost a bundle of time to Grosjean, to Ricciardo was now in front of him.
Well, let's see the start once again. An excellent start by Sebastian Vettel, leaving Nico Rosberg standing.
Yeah, Mark Webber he just got caught up. He tried to turn in. It wasn't Grosjean's fault. There are just too many people trying to share the same piece of tarmac. Now, remember, Webber had the most incredible start in Canada and had nowhere to go with it, and that was one of his worst by the looks of it.
Just in the bottom of your screen, you can see Paul de Resta getting past Charles Pic before they got into the 4th corner into the loop. Now we see the start from another angle. Cars all coming together, and something had to give, Martin.
Yeah, just a classic rush down to the first corner. And I think we're going to get a good view of that from Alonso. Alonso gets a reasonable start. Too much wheel spin in second gear, though. And that is what cost him all those places. And look at Massa. Did he hook it up or what? And that was Grosjean coming across. I think they sort of met in the middle, Grosjean and Webber there. Racing incident, I think, or start incident, I think you could call that. But it's clearly, it was that second phase of the start that hurt Alonso so much.
Yeah, Felipe Massa, it's almost like someone had fired him out of a catapult, quite frankly. Valtteri Bottas, slow starting compared to Gutierrez in the Sauber. Got a great start with Gutierrez, and this is what it looked like from the helmet cam with the Williams driver.
Yeah, another man going backwards was Jean-Eric Vergne with a poor start.
Sebastian Vettel being told on the radio to use your tyres wisely. So the strategy stories start to play out.
1 second quicker than Sutil last lap. He's going to back the cars up.
Right, let's just watch Paul di Resta here. Pastor Maldonado was the car that was next on the road for him, and quite nicely done by di Resta as he moved himself up into 16th place. Mark Webber moved himself now up into 12th place. The next car on the road for him is Jenson Button in the McLaren. As for the other two Brits, we've not mentioned Max Chilton much, 21st at the moment for him.
Okay, Jenson, how are the front tyres?
Front still like they're overheating, but also the rears do. I mean, all four feel like they're overheating.
Is that really going on in the race? It seems like they're in the lounge.
Yeah, certainly I've listened to you shout in a car as well. Sergio Pérez making his move down the straight a few moments ago.
To a three-stopper, making it easier.
Damage or not, Mark Webber's having a go here on Jenson Button and makes that move going into Stowe Corner and then runs wide. So, and there's Lewis Hamilton, and he's got a puncture, a failure, delamination, whatever, on his left rear tyre. It's the second time this weekend we've seen this happen.
It was just beautifully pulled out, a 2-second lead as well.
Always hardest, of course, on their rear tyres, the Mercedes car. And what is Ross Brawn thinking? Sat on the pit lane there, absolute heartbreak as he's passed by Jenson Button in the McLaren for Lewis Hamilton, who was pushing hard, stretching out his advantage, and now Martin will be lucky to limp back to the pits without substantial damage, you would imagine, to the underside of that Mercedes car.
And I hope, and let's see, here it's going to go. So it's in a straight line, it's down the Wellington Straight. And there it goes. And the main carcass comes out like a polo mint. No, there's a lot of debris on the track. I just wonder, as Vettel takes a big chunk of that as well.
Yeah.
I wonder what they might do about that.
Well, they red flagged the session when Sergio Pérez had his trouble on Friday, but just in a straight line.
I must say, it all looks like it's going still in a straight line, so that would look good for as far as the suspension damage. There is a lot of damage to the floor, though. You can just see on there, they're having a look at it, just checking it for safety, and they have sent him out into the race again.
And they're switching on to the hard compound tyre, which the teams say they think is the best race tyre for this afternoon. But the track temperature now 32 degrees. It's the hottest it's been all weekend long, and they're still going into the unknown in a certain way. And there's Felipe Massa after what had been a brilliant first 10 laps, and it's another problem on the left rear. And there's a lot more rubber on that left rear wheel at the moment, but what happened here? Puncture that caused the slide off the track, or it happened during?
There's 3 left rears that have gone, but this debris down the Wellington Straight, and exactly
it's gone before the incident, Martin.
Yeah, but it's the same straight where Lewis had his problem.
And it's a corner, the Aintree corner. You're what? Accelerating out of 70 miles an hour third gear here. You're up to what? 90, 100 miles an hour?
Well over 120. Yeah. And the curious thing is, it was his left rear. I mean, to an extent, the unloaded tyre that was.
But twice now it's been the left rear today. Felipe Massa then.
He's got more damage, a lot more damage than Lewis. Sorry, Crofty, because the outer bead moved across the rim inboard. So he's got more floor damage than Lewis.
DRS has been disabled as well, just for the time being. Oh, now quickly enabled once again by race control. Now, trying desperately to get that car out as quickly as possible. And the Pirelli man looking very concerned down there, Ted, as he watched Felipe Massa's pit stop.
And with very good reason. Everybody at Pirelli's going to be concerned about this until we find out.
Okay, Matt, people have been having punctures. Looks like the punctures are caused right rear, turn 4 and turn 5.
And through goes the Lotus of Romain Grosjean on a fresher set of tyres than his teammates Kimi Räikkönen, who's just changed, but they're still a little bit cold, and Räikkönen been out for a couple of laps, and now under pressure, Kimi Räikkönen with Fernando Alonso behind him. Down the old main straight they go, and the Ferrari now ahead. Back on board then with Fernando Alonso. Romain Grosjean is the next to feel the force of him in his Ferrari. But it's happened, and questions, as you say, Martin, I'm sure will be asked. Doesn't look good, does it, when 1 and then 2 happen in quick succession?
A kink into the Wellington straight could cut an inside shoulder.
Alonso,
the next one.
Alonso on Ricciardo there, by the way, under DRS, of course, but it's another move that Alonso...
Couple of things. First of all, the drivers are being told to stay off the curbs with their rear tyres on the exit of 4, Martin. So, and
that is the loop, Ted.
The loop, indeed. So that might give you clues to where it's happening. Team radio.
So Vettel is on prime tyres. We believe he is on a 3-stop strategy.
Okay, Roman, Kimi is faster than you. Kimi is faster than you.
Oh, it's like a repeat this afternoon, except Raikkonen is now at Lotus and is actually now going to be ahead of Roman.
Oh,
there's another tyre failure. Oh, this time it's Daniel Ricciardo whose tyre's gone into Stowe at about 190 miles an hour. And the left rear tyre on the Toro Rosso, Jean-Eric Vergne, I should say. Apologies for that. And it's just exploded at high speed.
And
Work that one out.
Turn 4 and 5, that was not. And luckily it was pretty much towards the outside of the approach to Stowe, but we are getting a very messy racetrack right now. Rosberg does a new fastest lap of the Grand Prix. The good news for Jean-Eric Vergne is he was virtually on top of the pit in.
Yeah, so not long to limp back in, but Martin, at what stage now with 3 tyres exploding, puncturing, deflating, and certainly forcing the marshals to run onto the track?
You know, it is not about one corner. I think this is about the things just overheating. In terms of the, you know, the long corners, we got a track temperature out there of 32 degrees now, and of course, luckily for Raikkonen, he'd just made the pass, getting hit on the head. There's smoke inside his cockpit from burning pieces of shrapnel, rubbish all in his cockpit there. I wonder if Charlie's thinking of putting the safety car out and cleaning the racetrack up anytime soon.
Ted, just down to you then.
Yeah, so I saw Vergne's, I'm right next to the Toro Rosso garage, actually, between there and Red Bull. So I saw that tyre when it came in, and there was still quite a lot, actually. Oh, so we do have a safety car. Charlie must have heard you, Martin. Team radio.
Sebastian, you had damage to your left rear tyre previous stint. You've got to stay off the curbs as best as you can. There are punctures all around.
As we see a replay of Jean-Eric Vergne's problem, remember Pirelli wanted to go back to a Kevlar structure,
belt.
And I think it was Lotus and Force India and other teams wouldn't agree to it because they thought they'd got an advantage with the way that they've been using the tyres. So Pirelli had to abandon that idea, and there's going to be a lot of finger pointing this evening.
Sorry, what happened to Sebastian?
He's still running, but his tyres had some cuts. So at the pit stop, we found cuts in his left rear tyre. We need to be careful of the left rear tyre.
Okay.
Right, Ted.
Felipe Massa. Massa has just pitted. I didn't know what for, and then the mechanics started inspecting the left rear on this set as well. So I'm just looking at what the options are for the rest of the race. Yes, the drivers will stay off the tyres, but then that shot of Adrian Newey was particularly telling for me as well. What do the teams do? Is it a tyre pressure situation? Can they help this situation by changing the tyre pressures? Maybe, but then they lose competitiveness if they increase the tyre pressures. Pirelli will be looking at the tyres, and they'll almost have so many tyre failures now they won't know how many people, they won't have enough people to actually analyse what went wrong, but all the teams will be looking for answers from Pirelli very quickly. And now Rob Smedley just on the radio to Felipe Massa saying how many tyre failures we've had, and actually saying that Ferrari have indeed repressured and increased the pressure on these tyres. So that's interesting. Higher tyre pressures, of course, mean a smaller contact patch and less grip.
And Pirelli give a guideline, don't they, Martin, as to what tyre pressures should be run?
A minimum. They say they give a minimum pressure, and the team's always trying to push the limits on that, but they may be told to pump them up more for the rest of the race when they put another set on. But I do believe as the fuel loads come down, this should be a reducing problem unless there's a fundamental flaw. Remember, we only see them in practice doing half a dozen 8 laps, don't we, in full race fuel.
Yeah, which they say, you know, they can sort everything out from those long runs. They can make all their predictions from. But certainly get the most punishment in the race.
Just be aware, there's obviously been a multitude of rear tyre failures. It's happening when the tyres are getting hot, and we think when the cars are running over curbs. Alonso had a failure in turn 4, so that's why we warned you to watch the apex curb of turn 4. Obviously, the high-speed corner exit curbs could cause some problems.
Put a little bit more pressure in it, Ted.
Yeah, it's 18 or 19 PSI, you're absolutely right, although teams in the past, mentioning no names, but people who've won the championship recently tended to run them down towards low as 16. But I'm just looking at that replay of the Mercedes and thinking back to the International Tribunal where they just got off with a reprimand because they said that they were trying to help Pirelli solve their tyre problems, and really that's come home to roost, hasn't it, today, and that they still need help, Pirelli, and I'm sure we're going to see the changes to the tyres very soon. I'd be surprised if they can make the changes in time for the German Grand Prix in a week's time, but surely there has to be changes to that construction, as you're saying, no matter whether the teams want it or not, but that might need a rule change. Just a quick line on the circuit inspection, David. You know, Charlie Whiting does do a circuit inspection, all curbs, all drains, everything like that before the weekend even starts. Team radio.
Okay, Sebastian has been a bit busy the last few laps. There has been some punctures on at least 3 cars, mostly left rear tyre. It's on the inside shoulder. At this point, we're not sure whether it's a tyre problem or a curving problem. So we'll deal with the tyres from our side. From your side, try to stay away from the curbs and try to save your left rear tyre. Keep on working on the fuel consumption. You can do better than this. Other cars are doing much better than you.
This, what we saw on the pit wall, Adrian Newey studying the photo of that tyre, the pressure up to PSI, and studying that would have been Sebastian Vettel's tyre then that came off at the first pit stop.
Yeah.
Where they found the cuts before it became a major problem.
Now, the problem we got here is that debris is causing the punctures and then the explosions, which creates more debris.
Yeah. Sutil, by the way, running the medium compound tyre. He's the only one, down to Mark Webber, that is doing so. Jenson Button and Paul Di Resta, both on the medium compound tyre. Di Resta, by the way, because of this safety car, been helped as he climbs right from the back, and the penultimate grid spot at the start of this race, now up to 11th, Paul Di Resta, in that Force India, on the cusp of a points place as the safety car peels in. And we can start racing once again. And already Sebastian Vettel has gone, and he is away down into the Vale chicane.
Because you can overtake now into this corner. The first safety car line is way up the hill, and nobody trying too hard to do that. That's why Vettel legged it going into Stowe.
No DRS, of course, for this next couple of laps. Vettel from Rosberg, from Sutil. Look, there's Sergio Pérez having a little go on Mark Webber as Pérez moves himself into 8th place, going round the Abbey curve behind Mark Webber, Jenson Button and Paul Di Resta. Green flag's been waved by the marshals. Pérez moves over to cover himself. He can't move back to the right-hand side to stop Mark Webber squeezing through on the outside at Brooklands, and that was an easy move for Webber.
Good job. Watch out for exit curbs, high-speed corners with your left rear.
And they're all staying off the curbs pretty much so far.
If it's not black, don't use it.
Yeah.
And if it's white, red, green, whatever, stay well away from it for the rest of the afternoon.
Through Chapel we go, and accelerating to 190 miles an hour down the Hanger Straight. Alonso gaining on the Force India, almost pulling alongside the Force India, but not quite enough to get past the Force India at the end of the straight.
Let's see who is staying off the curbs.
Well, on board with Lewis Hamilton. And he's getting very close there. Is Lewis Hamilton to Esteban Gutierrez.
Vettel smashing the first sector, fastest man of the entire Grand Prix so far by a quarter of a second over Rosberg. That's just in the first half minute of the lap. It always seems to play into Vettel's hands, doesn't it?
On board with Lewis Hamilton, going into Copse now. He's dispatched the Sauber of Esteban Gutierrez, moves himself up into 13th place. So far this weekend, it's looked quite nice for him.
Yeah, he's in there well, but isn't it extraordinary? Alonso and Raikkonen look to be right on their back foot. This is Massa fighting as if his life depended on it for 17th place.
Yeah, and not quite getting past Bottas on the inside through the loop section. Should have, you would imagine, a little bit of straight line advantage to at least get past one car down the Wellington Straight, but not of it. Bottas gets himself past Jean-Eric Vergne, whilst Ricciardo runs in the top 7. Vergne struggling down in 16th, but of course he has had to pit because of tyre problems. Ted, down to you now in a couple of seconds because Massa's got a great exit coming out of Woodcote now down the old pit straight, and Felipe Massa now does put himself up into 17th place. Ted.
Make sure you open the gap to Rosberg progressively. You're doing a good job.
Okay, Lewis, throttle brake overlap is preventing curves charging, so just minimise that where you can.
Don't press both pedals at the same time. So Lewis then just getting a little bit of brake on is something Mika Häkkinen used to love to do, but he didn't have to tolerate harvesting curves, and just heat your brakes slightly before getting off the throttle gives you can brake so late like that. But you use a lot of fuel doing it. It's something in sports car racing that destroys your fuel consumption. But what it's doing there is it's stopping the curves from harvesting, because basically Lewis has got the brake on before he's got the throttle off.
Now the Toro Rosso of Daniel Ricciardo been mounting a challenge to Romain Grosjean for a couple of laps here, and at the end of the Wellington Straight he's got that move done. Ricciardo moves himself up into 6th place.
And Jensen, how are the front tyres? Are they graining?
Front left, yes, a little, but I also have poor traction.
And 2 sugars in my tea, please.
And debris on the track from what? Carbon fibre, as Fernando Alonso and Adrian Sutil bypass it, one going one side, one going the other.
It's so hard to do what Alonso's just done, and that's see debris on the track when you tucked up the gearbox of another car. Saw it at the last minute and went around it with lightning reactions.
And we can see the start of this particular move. Under braking, the Lotus still scraping and bouncing along the floor again.
And that's how Mark Webber won the British Grand Prix last year, going around the his favourite trick, going around the outside. I don't feel so bad he overtook me now when we made that feature.
Yeah, it was harder for him on that day though, surely.
Right now.
So Nico, you're doing a good job there to close down Vettel. You're half a second a lap quicker than him.
Now, unsafe or not, Alonso had to brake, mechanics had to jump out of the way a little bit.
Okay, Jensen, we'll box this lap, box this lap.
DRS disabled momentarily, it said on our screen, but Hamilton and Raikkonen and Alonso with their DRS open there.
Box and pit confirm, please, Paul. Box and pit confirm. Empty curves.
And I think Paul there saw it happen the previous time around, so he saved himself some curves to defend along the Wellington Straight.
Hamilton's trying to defend, but through Copse, I think the fresher tyres of Kimi Raikkonen going to let the Finn win this one. Hamilton runs a little bit wide, which means Fernando Alonso will now pick up a place as well. Those two have just recently, of course, been into the pits, and Paul di Resta will be coming in soon. No problems out in front for Sebastian Vettel, 3.1 seconds clear. Now his teammate Mark Webber on a fresh set of tyres, as Lewis Hamilton in his sights. And there he goes, down into Brooklands, nice and easy does it. Hamilton, though, going to try and fight back on the inside a bit here before Mark Webber closes off that particular avenue to him.
Well,
so box, box, box.
As Mark Webber ahead there of Fernando Alonso in the Ferrari. So whilst we were watching Sebastian Vettel in the pit lane, Webber got that move done. So we can see a replay of it now down the Hangar Straight.
bouncing on the limiter. Red Bull, that DRS and the slipstream is very effective, isn't it? Because Alonso's been steaming past people.
Meanwhile, Paul di Resta losing a little bit of his front wing. Adrian Sutil and Nico Hülkenberg. Should have been di Resta and Hülkenberg. It was di Resta and Hülkenberg.
Okay, Sebastian, the tyre pressures on this set are very high all round, intentionally, to protect the punctures.
And confirmation that Red Bull erring on the side of caution once again as Jenson Button pops his way past Felipe Massa and moves himself up into another spot.
That suggests to me that
Vergne is out of the race. Finally, Lewis Hamilton pits. I'd imagine for him a couple of laps after he really would have liked to have come in. The thing is, because of the safety car, Martin, we look now at the Mercedes of Lewis Hamilton, who had pitted and now has Paul di Resta for company. Just looking at the front wing of di Resta's Force India, definitely the right-hand end plate has gone in that contact.
He'll get some DRS though. He's coming straight back at him. Sweet move.
And makes it stick as well. So Di Resta puts himself up ahead of Lewis Hamilton. And Hamilton now takes it straight back once again. The two British drivers scrapping very nicely for the home British crowd. Hamilton was ahead. Di Resta goes round the outside and gets back ahead himself. Force India ahead of Mercedes, both powered by the same engine. And it's Di Resta at the moment who's winning this particular British battle.
Strong message here from Paul Di Resta. I can mix it at the front with the front runners. That was a great driving by both of them. Lewis was particularly kind to him coming on through Woodcote onto the pit straight. He left Paul a lot of racing room.
Because he's now going to get some DRS as well, and I wonder if he just fancies getting the move done right here. Down towards Stowe we go. Hamilton goes round the outside but can't go past around the outside. Now we switch to the straight on the way to the chicane at Vale. Under braking, Hamilton once again trying the outside route and trying to slingshot his way through, and just finds a rear end of a Force India blocking his path.
Paul with a bit of oversteer through club there, but Paul just hesitated on the apex. He knew it was exactly what he needed to do to break the rhythm, the momentum of Hamilton after he'd got the switchback position, and then he just couldn't use it.
Onwards we go then. Another overtaking possibility coming up at the end of this Wellington straight. Maybe Lewis Hamilton can get it done before then. Yes, he can. He gets himself past Paul Di Resta and gets DRS as well, because he was behind Di Resta going through the detection point.
So rear wear is not a problem. Front is limiting.
Not only are you the sausage king, you are the Segway king. Look at this.
Jenson Button on Romain Grosjean a few moments ago. Grosjean looking in his mirrors. And he's got damage to his front wing there, Grosjean.
He had contact, didn't he, with Mark Webber going down to the first corner.
And now Daniel Ricciardo getting a very good toe indeed behind Adrian Sutil, who's pulled himself right in the centre of the track. Oh, did he leave enough room there?
No.
In defence?
No.
Wasn't the car's width, was they, going through Cobbs?
No, and Danny Ricciardo is more than entitled to stick his hand up.
Meanwhile, Lewis Hamilton. I just wonder, as Hamilton put himself up past Grosjean into 10th place.
How close the leaders are together. Rosberg just had a scruffy lap. It's back to 2.1 seconds now. He's hanging on in there, isn't he? Dare they go to the end of the race in the murk?
It's going to be jeopardy, isn't it, for both of them? Ted, down to you.
Yeah, so I'm interested whether Rosberg was given the same instruction or whether his team were...
Oh, Ted!
What?
Sebastian Vettel slowed down on the final corner and has passed the pit lane entrance, and there's a roar of approval from the fans as Nico Rosberg roars past, and Sebastian Vettel, the championship leader, is going to pull over to one side here, and it looks like his race could be done.
Transmission failure.
Lost drive, lost the gearbox.
Lost drive, lost the gearbox, and we lose our race leader from this British Grand Prix. It is not going to be another success at Silverstone for Sebastian Vettel.
Okay, we're going to box this lap, Nico. We're going to box this lap.
What a dramatic British Grand Prix this is, and Sebastian Vettel, I'm waiting for him to jump over the wall and go back to his garage. I can just see him preparing to do that now. It's belt and braces stuff, no risk for Mercedes. The threat of Vettel is gone, so they're going to bring Nico Rosberg in to change his tyres once again.
Yeah, which makes an awful lot of sense. 10 laps to go. And that's where the problem occurred.
So the 7 gears sound like they're intact, so some kind of primary drive or differential.
I don't know, we made the right choice not to pit.
I don't know, Kimmy, but it's too late now, so stick to the plan. Okay, Nico, so we think we see a start of a delamination or blister in the centre of the tread.
Applause in the Red Bull garage as Sebastian Vettel returns.
It's odd, isn't it, that the crowd booed. The team from Milton Keynes, a stone's throw away. Suspect that goes back to Malaysia.
It's good to hear Mark Webber saying, yeah, it's going to happen. I'm going to take these guys on and go for the podium. And that's why Mercedes were telling Rosberg that Webber's going to be the threat from behind, as well as Kimi Räikkönen. But Adrian Sutil might have something to say about that. It'll be impressive from him if he does it. Red Bull also telling Webber that you'll have about 6 or 7 laps towards the end. As it is, it's only 6, isn't it? Here we go. And take them off, pick them off one by one was the advice.
Well, here we go then. We're racing once more. Nico Rosberg ahead of Kimi Räikkönen. Didn't look too steady coming out of the Vale chicane. Kimi Räikkönen there, and there's Nico Hülkenberg and Pastor Maldonado back further down the field, allowing Paul di Resta to move up just a couple of spots. Di Resta goes up then into 12th place.
Yeah, and you're allowed to overtake after the second safety car line, which is way before the pit entry. So Hülkenberg awake. Haven't seen too many others doing that, but Perez in there with Jenson Button. And look at that, Fernando Alonso's dropped right back in all of this.
In that safety car period, Alonso has gone back about 3 places. Now fancies his chances as Mark Webber fancies his chances on Daniel Ricciardo down into Brooklands. There's Lewis Hamilton making a move on Romain Grosjean a little bit further back. Webber got his move done, Hamilton got his move done as well. So Hamilton up into 9th and Webber up into 4th. So we watch Fernando Alonso behind the McLaren of Jenson Button. Down towards Copse we go now. Much faster pace for the Ferrari. Gets the move done before we get into Copse, and Alonso is up into 7th place and now chasing after Sergio Pérez in the other McLaren.
Yeah, we want to see...
Oh, and there's another tyre failure. Another tyre's gone. And who is it this time that's got the problem? Sergio Pérez, his second tyre problem of the weekend, and it's on the hanger straight once again that the problem occurs for the McLaren driver. Lewis Hamilton there ahead of Jenson Button. There's Felipe Massa having a little go.
And Alonso then having another look at, Massa on the Button.
And not quite making it stick. Felipe Massa challenging for 8th place. Mark Webber gaining on Adrian Sutil as Perez limps his way back into the pits, and his race can continue, but his chance of points has gone. And Mark Webber gets himself up into the podium places. Last year's race winner is now up into the top 3 and manages to pass Adrian Sutil. Meanwhile, further back, Grosjean ahead of Button there. That's Paul di Resta right behind Jenson Button, and di Resta at the moment in 11th place. Button getting ahead and keeping ahead, I should say, of Grosjean. And is that Perez stalling at the end of the pit lane, Ted?
No, it's not safe to continue. There's too much damage to the floor. It's absolutely ripped a hole in the left-hand side of the side pod. I can see the exhaust, I can see all the secret bits of the car. It's a real mess, and so it wasn't able to continue. Shame he was in P6. Great drive from Perez.
Top 4, I should say, as Ricciardo and Alonso. Alonso takes the place on the exit, but Ricciardo still hanging on in there. And that's Lewis Hamilton come to join the party as well. And Ricciardo loses 2 spots in the space of about 200 yards. Alonso ahead of Hamilton, Ricciardo 5th, 6th, 7th. Räikkönen questioned the decision not to pit behind the safety car, and the answer as to whether they could now be revealed as Mark Webber into Brooklands tries to make the move around the outside. Not going to happen on this particular occasion, but the safety car squeezing everybody together and now giving us a real sprint to the line where some Martin Brundle can get that extra grip, others are really struggling, and Kimi Räikkönen's one of them, and Mark Webber nearly takes off his front wing and somehow manages to avoid contact not once but twice, and then move himself up into 2nd place. Räikkönen has to try and run his own race and stay in the top 3 between now and the end of the race. Alonso does move his way past Adrian Sutil, and where's Lewis Hamilton going to feature in all this as well? Because Lewis Hamilton is now right behind his former friend Adrian Sutil, the Force India driver, with 4 laps to go.
Räikkönen and Alonso know they need to make the most of this now with Vettel out of it. They've got to come back at him in the World Championship. This is their chance.
Down the inside on Adrian Sutil. Lewis Hamilton moves himself up into the top 5, and he's gaining places lap after lap after lap. Kimi Räikkönen, you can see them now onto the hanger straight. There's the front 2 going past. Who's going to have 3rd as they go into Stowe? Fernando Alonso's going to have 3rd as they go into Stowe, and he pops himself up now into the top 3, all changing around in these latter stages. And who knows how this race is going to finish, because we've had so much happen. Paul di Resta just got off the track, by the way. It's at Aintree before the start of the Wellington Straight, continued on his way. We watched Lewis Hamilton so mighty through this particular part. Beckett's and Chappell in qualifying, and he's got DRS and he's got Kimi Räikkönen well within his sights. And Hamilton, who led this race at one stage and was right back at the back of the field, is now up into 4th place. He's charged his way through. It might not be a podium finish for him, but Hamilton's certainly giving it absolutely everything and more to entertain the British crowd here this afternoon as we move on to the final lap.
No, let's not do that. Let's have another 10. This is brilliant.
As we watch Felipe Massa, and that's his battle with Adrian Sutil. And Nico Rosberg, I think he can now start to taste victory. He started the British Grand Prix weekend celebrating his birthday. It's the best present he could have wished for. It's a win at Silverstone. It's the British Grand Prix for Nico Rosberg. It's Mark Webber coming home on the podium to finish 2nd in his final race here in F1. Alonso holds off Hamilton to complete the podium. 3rd and 4th, Kimi Räikkönen has to settle for 5th ahead of Felipe Massa, Adrian Sutil, Daniel Ricciardo, Paul Di Resta, who did it again from the back of the field. He manages to score points. Nico Hülkenberg gets his first point in 5 races to finish 10th ahead of Maldonado and Bottas. Williams unlucky once again just to miss out. Jenson Button 13th.
Yes, great job, Nico. Excellent job. Well done, mate.